some football.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right?
Love you, 1-7.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy, and today, finally, has arrived. It is Buffalo Bills football game day, week 1, and I got Jarek joining me today. Jarek, what is up, man? Are you ready for some real football? Not no preseason, the real deal. Week 1 versus Cardinals. What's up?
Yeah, man. What's going on, everybody? Man, I just, it's finally here, man. We're about 2 hours away.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it, man. It's here. All the preseason talk, all the trash talk from our divisional opponents, including Jets fans who think they're going to win the Super Bowl with a quarterback that's just coming off of an Achilles injury. All the trash talk is over. So now now the season started, and here we go.
This is it, man. Yeah, all that. You're right. All that trash talking, especially by Dolphin fans, Jets fans, mainly from Dolphin fans. But yeah, man, that shit's over now. It's time. Like, it's time. This is where shit gets real, as they say. So this is an important game, Jarek, for me. This is a game the Buffalo Bills should win. I believe will win. But they need to win. Right? Because the next 5 games, 4 or 5 on the road, and they're not easy games. You gotta win against the teams you should beat. And last year, that's what put us in a hole, right? I mean, is that how you see it? This game is a must win, really, to start the season.
Technically, it's not a must win, but it is kind of a must win for us because then you want to have that momentum going into Miami in week 2 because that's a very important divisional game, and unfortunately, that's a short week for us. So the Cardinals is they're very young, very a lot of youth is on this football team, and one thing about week 1 is that a lot of players, like, this is the healthiest that typically a team is going to get, and so the Cardinals, they do have some explosive playmakers. They got some really, really good solid defenders that could give us some issues. And so, the Cardinals, I don't think is going to be a good team, but because it's week 1, this is a team that can sneak up on you if you're not ready, if you're not really prepared that much. And so, we'll see what happens, man. But I do think we need this win, especially going into Miami in week 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get where you're going. It's not technically a must win, right? It's not like a seeding for a playoff or anything. I get that part. But the reason why I'm saying it's borderline as a must win is because if you look at the schedule, like I said, the next 4 or 5 on the road, you got at Dolphins Thursday, quick turnaround, right? You're home against the Jags. You know how we've played against the Jags, right? Not good, right? Like, it hasn't been pretty. Then we're at the Ravens. Not an easy game. At the Texans. Once again, a team that's is on trending up. They got Stephon Diggs now. They got a ton of receivers. Good quarterback who's trending up too, who I believe is the real deal in Stroud. And then you got at Jets. I mean, like, bro, really tough opponents coming up for the Buffalo Bills. If you start 0-1 And you got to go through that these next 5 games. Listen, man, like that's a rough start, bro. That is a rough start, and you really have to get your act together if you lose against Cardinals, against these next 5 opponents. That's why I'm saying I think it's really important that the Buffalo Bills get this win, because it's basically, for me, it's kind of a new team almost, right? This Buffalo Bills team, right? You got a new coordinator with a new philosophy on what he wants to do on offense. You got a defense coordinator, first year calling the plays on defense. You got new safeties. You got Damar Hamlin starting at safety, which is I'm nervous about. I'm not going to lie. You got a linebacker, Dorian Williams, we don't know yet what he's going to do. Last year, once again, shaky. There's a lot of questions on this team, but if they come out swinging against the Cardinals and they look good, they look the part, the offense is gelling early under this Joe Brady's new offense, right? The way he wants to do, where everyone eats, and the defense and Damar Hamlin plays up to what they were saying that he was doing in offseason, right? At that higher level, then I'll feel more comfortable on the next 5 games, right? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, we have question marks, man. Where we have question marks, especially at the safety position, where it's just been, players that are kind of banged up and just, guys that just doesn't really have that much experience with this defense. That's why Damar Hamlin's the starter, because Damar Hamlin is the most experienced defender in the secondary in terms of the safety position. So we have, Dorian Williams, let's be honest, not great in coverage.
Nope.
And so we're, what do we think we're probably going to be doing? We're probably going to be playing with 3 safeties. We're probably going to be playing with an extra safety in the box, right? That Jordan, and that's where Jordan Poyer, if we would have assigned him today, if Jordan Poyer was on this team, he would have been that much valuable, because he can compensate for Dorian Williams' fuck up in coverage.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yes,
I agree.
And he's not the same player he used to be, but
Taylor Rapp, Jarek, would have been fine, because Taylor Rapp played the box in LA.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If we had actually decent safeties, you can, even without Poyer, I would be like, okay, throw Rapp down there in the box, and then you'd have, let's just say hypothetically Micah Hyde was still around. You had Hyde, and then you had Bishop. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with that. But
we don't have
a
field safety who's healthy. We don't have a person that can cover the field.
No.
We have a lot of players that can play in the box. We have, and that's the best. I mean, Cole Bishop would have been, if he was healthy, would have been valuable today. And that's why I'm like, that injury sucks, because you drafted him for this particular purpose, was for him to play the box and be excellent in the run game, have the ability to cover tight ends. Like, that's what you brought him in here for. And now he's hurt. Now he's gone. And now, now with Matt Milano being hurt, now you have a problem, because you got to find a safety who can compensate for Dorian Williams' weakness, which is going to be his pass coverage ability. Because and unfortunately, Arizona has a tight end in Trey McBride, who was one of the best tight ends against linebackers. So if you find yourself in positions where you're playing, let's say you're playing cover 3, or you're playing quarters, or where one of your linebackers is going to have to cover the field, who's going to be that guy, especially if Dorian Williams kind of comes in? Let's say you're playing cover 4 drop, or let's say you're playing match defense with cover 3. Can your linebacker, can he sit in zone? Can he recognize, certain tight ends in certain positions?
Right.
What can he do? Especially if, let's say, if they do play man, what is he going to do in those areas? Dorian Williams was terrible last year in those certain positions. So they got to figure out, how can we compensate for the loss of Matt Milano? Because Matt Milano, one thing that he was great at was his ability to cover tight ends and slot receivers. He can do that. And you lose a huge asset in that defense. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, my concern going into the season before Milano went down was mainly safety, but now it's safety and linebacker. Like, I from what I saw last year with Dorian Williams, he was raw. Pass coverage was not very good.
His run defense was really good. Like, I thought his run defense was really good. His tackling, I feel like, is really good. It can get a little better, but it's pretty good. Let's say, I'm not gonna say really good. It's pretty good, but I feel like it can get better. But his pass coverage was bad. I felt like when he was in there, teams picked on him, and I feel like Arizona is going to test that out early in this game. They're going to test that out early to see if Dorian Williams got any better at pass coverage. So I expect them to go to the tight end early. And see it, and really it's up to Buffalo to shut that down. If we shut that down, then yeah, that's a relief, right? That's something that we can go, okay, you know what? Maybe Dorian Williams worked his ass off in the offseason and got better in pass coverage, right? Like, I listen, I'll be honest, I was nervous with Terrell Bernard last year. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I knew Terrell Bernard was gonna be a good linebacker. Like, I was nervous as hell. Now, I wanted him to start over Dotson. I will say that was no brainer because Dotson was terrible, at least in pass coverage. But no, they made it. Listen, Bernard busted his ass in the offseason. He got better. Whatever he did with the coaches, those one-on-ones. That's why I always say the offseason is so important. And it proved on the field. So hopefully, maybe Dorian Williams will prove that he's gotten better in that, you know, in that part of his game. Scott, yeah, man. As you guys know, or you know, some of you may not know, my mom passed away on Friday. So yeah, man, it was a rough day for me, but I got through it. I'm still battling through it, I guess. But I appreciate all your thoughts and prayers and all that good stuff, man. I needed it. So thank you. But yeah, moving on. So yeah, that's I would say that's the only part of this team, my main concerns. On the other side of the ball, Jarek, the offense. Do you have any concerns on the offense?
Well, I think the main concern for a lot of people is going to be the receivers. That's just going to be the main concern. And, you know, when you have a Khalil Shakir, when you have a Keon Coleman, you have a Mac Hollins, you know, when you ask a lot of fan bases what they think of it, they think, dude, this is concerning because Josh Allen doesn't have that true number one weapon. But this is why I'm interested in seeing what Dalton Kincaid. I'm very interested to see how much 12 personnel we run. Very interested to see that factor because last year they talked about the importance of including 12 personnel,
and it was terrible.
It was bad. Matter of fact, it was a lot better when we ran 11 personnel because why? Because Dalton Kincaid was just on the field, right? Dalton Kincaid was on the field, and he started to get way more production. But I do see the importance more with the Joe Brady offense. Well, at least when Ken Dorsey, during Ken Dorsey's offense, when Joe Brady was running it, because we started to run the football. You know, when we tried to run, when we ran a lot of 12 personnel with Ken Dorsey, we threw it a lot. We tried to incorporate a lot more of the tight ends, and it was just not a good thing. Like, if you're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of big jumbo sets, you have to run the ball. And that's something I think Joe Brady was able to understand, was like, wait a minute, I got a great offensive line. We drafted O'Cyrus Torrence for this purpose. We literally drafted him not to be a person that's going to be phenomenal in pass sets. We drafted him because we needed a bulldozer and enforcing the offensive line, and we needed to get better at running the ball. And so when we focused on that, we became a much better football team who controlled the clock, controlled time of possession. Our defense was a lot better because they weren't on the remember like at some point, like we were one of the fastest teams in the league in terms of 3 and outs. And our defense, which was going to get tired easily, we started to slow that down. And so I'm curious to see what happens because this is Joe Brady. Like he's installed his full game plan. We haven't really we've seen bits and pieces of it. We do know 12 is going to be incorporated a lot. And so it will be interesting to see like what's the direction of this offense. Are we going to go a little bit more run? Are we going to go a little bit more, I would say, because obviously I think we're going to throw it a little bit more, but is this going to be like a 60-40 sort of offense or a 55-40, like a 55? I
think it's safe. I think 60-40 is where I'm heading, which is fine. because you don't want to take that away from Allen either, right? Like that's Allen. Like, listen, quarterback wants to throw, especially Josh Allen. So I don't know if they totally make it balanced at a 50-50, 55-45. Like, I see it still at 60-40. I'll be honest with you. I am not totally sold on James Cook. I think he's a good running back.
I'll come out and say it, Tommy. I think Ray Davis is better. I think
I think
harder. He's more explosive.
Yeah, that's one thing me and you agree. I told Mikey because I heard when you filled in for me a few Fridays ago. I caught a little bit of what I actually rewatched it a little bit, but me and you are on the same page with Ray Davis. I was, and I hope I'm right, because I feel like this was said about 3 years ago when we had Zach Moss, right? And I was the opposite. I didn't think Zach Moss was the guy. I was pissed off that everybody was trying to push Singletary out the door with Zach Moss. I felt like Singletary was a better running back, better vision. I thought he was a better, at making the first tackle and miss than at that time than Zach Moss. And Zach Moss has improved since he left Buffalo, but I'm talking about at that time. Now, Ray Davis is different for me. On film, what I've seen so far, I feel like he has better vision, in my opinion. I feel he's way better in between the tackles. I feel he's way better at pass protection, and he's a good pass catcher out the backfield. So it's not like you're missing out on that part of the game. The only thing that really James Cook has over him is his speed. But James Cook is not elusive. He doesn't make the first guy miss all the time. He relies always on his speed and to the outside edge. Yep. In between the tackles, when he gets caught up, he's done. He does not break tackles very easy. His contact balance isn't the greatest. Ray Davis' contact balance is very good. So I'm with you. Like, I do see Ray Davis in time taking more carries away, a lot more carries away than what a lot of people think from James Cook. And in time, he could take over as an RB1. For now, Cook is the RB1 for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised at some point in the season, they're either splitting carries or Ray Davis takes over. That's how I see it. I could be wrong. And I'm not trying to shit on James Cook, because I think James Cook is still a good running back. I just don't think he's well-rounded. And the pass protection is a big key, guys. He's terrible at it. Terrible. And our offensive line is not really the exact same it was last year. Got Edwards at left guard now. So now, once again, Deion Dawkins is next to a guy he has to get familiar with, and you know how that goes. And then he got McGovern at center now. So there was a shift there. And what I saw in preseason, it got a little better in week 2. And it was decent in week 3. Our running game got going. But it still wasn't – I still didn't see massive holes. Like, I still felt like we were struggling a little bit to create spaces for backs. And that's where Ray Davis comes in, because Ray Davis can still pick up some yards, even with the offensive line not giving those massive holes. So, I don't know. We'll see what that comes out. But on the Joe Brady thing, I'm with you. Like, I felt like last year, like, he inherited that offense from Ken Dorsey, which, by the way, I still think Ken Dorsey can turn it around as an offense coordinator. He got hired really fast for a reason. I felt like, I almost feel like, and I could be wrong, but I almost felt like Sean McDermott really played a role in what he wanted the offense to look like last year. And it was almost like he was forcing it on Ken Dorsey, because the year before, when Ken Dorsey, his first year, it wasn't that bad, bro. Like, we were like top 5 offense. Like, it was not as clunky as it was last year. Like, I felt like this year was like, or last year, I felt like Sean McDermott like had like this, like, notion where it's just like, hey, Ken, like, we're not going to have Josh run much. Like, matter of fact, let's really limit him, in that category. Let's do 12 personnel a lot. Like, he went almost very basic old school offense And I don't think Ken Dorsey really had a say. I felt he was like a young coordinator, and he was just going by what the coach wanted the offense to look like. And it didn't go well. And that's why I think Sean McDermott took so long to fire him as well. It took way too long. And Joe Brady kind of inherited that offense. And I think at that point, McDermott kind of said, Joe, just do what you got to do to get us to win. You know what I mean? Because if you saw that very following game when Joe Brady took over, what was the first thing we saw? First play, Allen running. So, right? You didn't see that for the first half of the season. So I kind of felt like he was just like, hey, you know what? Let's just go back to what worked. Let's get away from this, not having Allen run, strictly pocket kind of passer, throwing to Diggs. It was so generic. That offense was so bland last year for the first half. And then if you saw when Joe took over as well, he started to implement everybody else. All these guys that we brought in the year that year, Sherfield, Hardy, they weren't being used. They weren't. I don't think Ken Dorsey, that was if I had any, my major flaw with him, he didn't understand how to use player strengths and weaknesses. He didn't understand that. So he never use Hardy's speed, for instance. No jet sweeps, no nothing. Very basic. And Sherfield was never involved. So I just felt like he didn't really know how to use them correctly. He also didn't know how to use Dalton Kincaid correctly. The route tree everything was short yards, very basic for Dalton Kincaid early on. When Brady took over, everybody got more involved. He used everybody's strengths. You started seeing Shakir get more involved. Shakir was barely used in the first half of that season. So, and I feel like that's what Stephon Diggs did not like. And that's why Stephon Diggs, and his heart wasn't in the team anyways, but it wasn't. If he had anything left for, feelings for this team, it totally left when Joe Brady took over, because he took away the, just going to Diggs, Allen to Diggs, Allen to
centerpiece anymore.
He wasn't the centerpiece.
Shakir
Exactly.
Shakir and Kincaid were the centerpieces.
But Shakir was a centerpiece because Shakir made plays.
Yeah.
He got open. Let's say what you listen, Stephon Diggs was good. I'm not going to dog him and shit on him. He had 1,000 yards every year he played with us. But for some reason, man, I don't know what it was, but certain games he did not show up, bro, especially in the playoffs. Shakir showed up, man. We'll see what happens this year, but he just,
and he wasn't getting bracketed, Tommy. He wasn't getting double bracket or nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what happened to him, but I honestly felt, and I said this about Diggs last year going into the season, and I'll be honest with you, it was true. It wound up being true, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're wrong." Diggs may have shown up. He may have, worked his ass off in the in that off season and training camp, and he was always ready to play football. No doubt, I will give him that. But his heart was never for this team. I felt like his passion was gone for the Buffalo Bills. So anything bad that happened, if you saw, he shrugged his shoulders. He didn't really care. That raw emotion, caring for the team. Allen was his dude. That shit was gone, bro. That shit was gone, dead. So, I just didn't see a long-term thing for him here. The only thing I thought that he would stay is because of the contract. But if you saw, Bean said, fuck it. I'd rather move on than have a guy that's just, his heart's not here. And then he even admitted that. Diggs came out and said, mentally, I was not right. I knew the writing was on the wall. So he knew.
He's that one guy that's just when you have a very high paying job, but you just don't like the job, but you want to show up just because the pay is nice. That's what Diggs was.
Exactly.
Diggs,
exactly.
He may not like the situation, but the dude's a true professional. He's going to show up to work.
That's where I was going with. Yeah.
He's going to work hard, but his heart was just not, he didn't really care.
His heart wasn't for the team or the locker room. That shit was over. You know what I mean? That shit was that ship sailed. But once again, we moved on from Diggs. Here we are. We got a new offensive group pretty much. I'm excited to see Curtis Samuel, Jarek. I think it's an underrated signing. He's a Deebo Samuel, but undersized, right? He's not as physical as obviously as Deebo, but he could do everything that a Deebo Samuel could do, right? He's a Swiss Army knife for the offense. He can line up anywhere, running back, wide receiver, in the slot. Like he can go anywhere on the offense, wherever you need Curtis Samuel. And I felt like, man, the guy's played with some bad quarterbacks, and he's still gotten some pretty good yards. So I think playing with this team, Josh Allen, Joe Brady, who coached him as well throughout his career, I think this is a perfect landing spot for Curtis Samuel. What do you think about Curtis?
I like Curtis Samuel a lot, and I think he's going to be a pretty big feature in this offense. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say he's going to have 1,000 yards receiving, but this is a person that's played under Joe Brady before and had his best year under Joe Brady. Why? Because they utilized him as a weapon. And again, Curtis. Well, even though Curtis Samuel, I think he plays very similar to Deebo Samuel. In terms of just the role, like in terms of just being the ultimate utility weapon, right? He is a utility weapon that Isaiah McKenzie probably should have been, where you're going to line him up in the backfield. You're going to line him up in the slot. He's going to be a guy that you send a lot in motion. He can play out wide, and he's, don't be surprised. Like a lot of, he's going to be a big decoy, or there's going to be times where they will hand him off in jet, right? When it comes to jet touch passes or jet sweeps. You're going to use him in RB tosses. I mean, he's a weapon, essentially. Like I can't even really label the position of a true position where he plays. He's just an all-around weapon. And we've seen that if he can stay healthy under this Joe Brady offense, he was a very dynamic player for the Carolina Panthers with Joe Brady. So, if he can stay healthy, and again, I know he's been dinged up now, which is not really a good, but he's a weapon that could be a mismatch nightmare for a lot of defenses. And so, this is nothing new to at least Sean McDermott and to us. We've seen these utility weapons in this offense before. Again, with Isaiah McKenzie trying to be that role for us, and he was actually effective when he did play, but just wasn't there. But Deebo, I keep calling him Deebo. Curtis Samuel is he's an upgrade. He's an upgrade from McKenzie, and so I'm very excited to see what he does. Again, he'll be a big factor within this offense. And honestly, again, he'll be that one player, he'll be that one player again, where if you need a bailout, if you need a certain mismatch on the field, that's going to be Curtis Samuel lining up in all sorts of different positions for this team.
Yeah, I agree. He's also like a security blanket. He'll be that security blanket for Josh Allen. I think Dalton Kincaid also will be that security blanket, but Lee coming in, and you're in Buffalo, Jarek. So Lee coming in saying first game of the year and the weather is already an issue. It's not helped the Bills. Never understood not building a dome stadium. So how's the weather looking now? Because I know I talked to you earlier, said it was fine. Is it getting a little windy over there?
Yeah, like I said, I'm right now it's a little windy, but I do know Orchard Park is a different, especially in that stadium. Like, Orchard Park is one of the windiest stadiums that you'll ever be in. So I can like out there and kind of more of those urban areas, especially with Orchard Park, it's probably windy. It's probably windy as all hell.
Yeah, and that stadium, the design of it.
But then it's like it's nice out. It's like 65, but like the wind is picking up a little bit. But Orchard Park is probably way worse.
Yeah, it holds it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here we go. So, but I will say this, Lee, the new stadium, and I get what you're saying too. I honestly, I would prefer a dome. Like I do think the Bills should play in a dome, but they still want that element of, playing in January in Buffalo where it's cold, and I get that part. So the new stadium, supposedly, and the way it's going to be designed, or the way they're designing it, is one, they do have partial roofing. So a lot of the fans aren't going to get that snow and rain on them and stuff like that. But also like the wind factor won't be such a big deal in the way it's designed. So it's not like Highmark now, this stadium, where the winds are absolutely outrageous because the way that, the design of the stadium. So that's what they say. We'll find out once once it's built in 2026 and we're playing football. But yeah, it is what it is. There's no dome. We could stop talking about it. They went with this design of the new stadium. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, it's weird. It sucks. It's kind of a disadvantage for both teams when the wins like that. And yeah, Tyler Bass, I do not trust even in awesome degree. No wind. Like right now,
it could be a rough day for Tyler Bass. But I just
yeah, it could be right. I have no faith in him right now, Jarek. I know you guys talked about him when you were on the show a few weeks back.
I told you, I have no confidence. Like I was there for training camps, man. Like he's just by himself on the sidelines, not socializing with anybody.
Nothing. Looks dead. Looks no emotion. Yeah, zero emotion. Just looks like he's lost out there in a way, right? Like he shouldn't even be out there, right? Like nervous, like he's never kicked a field goal, right, in his life. That's what he looks like. He looks like nervous as hell. He has this and that I have no idea what happened to that guy because he was not like that his first 2 years. I felt like, he missed a few here and there, but overall his confidence is pretty high. He was a happy guy. Like he is not a happy player now. He is away from his teammates. He looks lost. He doesn't look confident. I don't know if he can get that. I've heard from many people, analysts and stuff like that, talking about, that have this experience with, former coaches and stuff, that kickers have a tough time coming back, getting that confidence back. I hope he gets it back because we're stuck with him. There's not bringing in a kicker. They can't. I mean, at one point, I will say this, though. If he's really struggling throughout this early in the season, I don't care what you're paying him. You're going to have to figure that out and bring a kicker in. You have to. You cannot let it cost this team games because there's going to be games where we're going to need Tyler Bass to make field goals, right? And if you can't make them,
I'm gonna die on this hill, man. I'm gonna die on this hill until we actually end up getting a good kicker. We should have drafted Will Reichert. He was the best kicker.
Yeah,
he had the best leg by far. He was the most accurate in the history of college football. And he was available for you to take in the 6th round, in the 5th, in the 6th round especially, and you passed up on him. If you would have drafted Will Reichert right now, we would not be having this issue. We'll be having an accurate kicker who's young, healthy, and a stronger arm than Tyler Bass who can kick through these wins.
Right.
Minnesota got this dude literally kicking 70. Did you see that 70-yard kick he made in the preseason?
No, did he?
It's like I was pissed off we didn't get him because I'm like, yep, now we're gonna have to do it. Like first we didn't address the punter situation, which I have we're stuck on it. You couldn't, we're stuck on that issue. And now this, it's like, man, special teams it's gonna be rough.
It's bad. Special teams is rough. I'm not a fan of Smiley. I'm not. I think he should have been fired. I'm not a fan of Sam Martin. I think the way. Listen, man. Like I love Brandon Beane. I love what he's done for this team. Like I think he's one of the better GMs out there, no doubt about it. But man, he's made some crucial mistakes and some weird. He's made some questionable moves or non-moves for this team, and like I'll go back to last year when everyone was all on Twitter and X, like when we lost Sam Martin, or Sam Martin was, by the way, before Sam Martin even got hurt, he was punting like shit. Okay. So it wasn't even like the injury caused Sam Martin to. Sam Martin was on the decline. Let's be real. And we just paid him. And then he got the hamstring thing. And then they're running around looking for a punter. And who do they bring back? Typical what McDermott and Bean do. Bring back an aging old ass kicker that punted here before, and Matt Hawk, whatever the hell you want to call him. When you had your former draft punter out there, and everybody, or not everybody, a lot of Bills Mafia was freaking. Oh, but we can't because if you sign him, he doesn't hold well. He hasn't played in the game, and guys, he's a fucking punter. He's punted his whole life. He won the job from Matt Hawk. He was holding just fine. And y'all stressing the fuck out over holding. Like, dude, did you watch the game against the Chiefs? By the way, Sam Martin played, and he was terrible. Could not punt for shit. Are you watching this guy now this year? Matt Ariza? He's punting just well in Kansas City. He's holding the ball for their kicker. Fine. No problem. Like, but once again, we fumbled that because trust me, he would have easily came back and you would have solved your issue right there at punter. You would have let Sam Martin go. You would have had Matt Ariza back. And that would have been the right thing to do. But they fumbled that away. It was a slap in the face, in my opinion, for Ariza because I felt like they owed him that much to bring him back at that time. And they were worried about holding. Stop. Tyler Bass missing field goals anyways. And then you had the offseason to figure that out. And what do? You sign Matt Hawk again. What the fuck are you doing? And then you bring in a kicker, a punter from the same school as Ariza, who was actually a good punter in college, and you cut him. You don't even give him an opportunity to compete. You fucking waive him way early in camp. You never bring him back. And here we are. We're rolling Sam fucking Martin again and Tyler fucking Bass. Both guys who got paid, both guys who are not earning their contracts. Terrible. Very disappointed. Very disappointing that we didn't at least bring in competition for either of those guys. I'm not happy with. And I get it. It's not that crazy important of a position, but believe it or not, it is. Field position means a lot, guys. Right? Go back to that Chiefs playoff game. We had a guy that could actually kick a fucking punt, and get good field possession. We probably would have punted better or not gone for that fake punt. I'm just throwing that out there too. You know? So I don't know. I'm just saying. So it is what it is. We're stuck with these guys. I'm hoping Tyler Bass turns it around and can find his way again. And Sam Martin's going to be Sam Martin, guys. He's going to have some good games, and he's going to have games where he's not so great. So it is what it is. Hopefully we won't have to punt a lot, and we won't have to have a lot of field goals made past 45 yards because Tyler Bass can make 40-yard field goals, right? I mean, would you say that, Jared? You're comfortable with the 40, 35, 30, 25? Like, I feel like he can make those, but anything beyond 40 is very shaky.
You just know at some point it's going to come to bite us. It happens every year where somehow, in some way, special teams are going to cost you in crucial situations, crucial moments. It's just like that's the thing that just makes me nervous because the one thing that Sean McDermott, even when he first came in, that we were really good at was always special teams. That was the priority, was making sure that special teams was not the issue. And now all of a sudden it has become the issue. So, I mean, like I said, as much loss as we had on offense and defense, the one area that's concerning me the most is the special teams unit because we have a below average kicker and we have a below average punter. And it's one of those situations, like you said, Tommy, we could have literally fixed this in the offseason. You could have drafted Will Reichert and you could have brought back Matt Ariza and we would be fine. You had two extremely young kickers and punters. You didn't have to pay a lot of money to. And that's the thing about it. Like, you paid Tyler Bass to be one of the highest paid kickers in the league. And then literally as soon as he got that contract, he was one of the worst.
Downhill. So downhill. Not only that too, the other thing too with Tyler Bass is he makes mistakes off kickoffs.
Yeah, he does.
Like kicking out of bounds and which he's done multiple times throughout his career, which I can't stand. Like, dude, what are you doing? And then this new kickoff rule, he's yet to understand how it works. Like, don't kick it in the fucking. What are you doing? Why are you kicking it? Giving them good field position by kicking in the end zone. What are you doing? Like, do you know the new rules? Like, every kicker I've seen so far has practiced or has looked decent, or at least the good kickers understand the new rule. Right? And I don't know if it's Smiley either. Maybe Smiley's telling them to do it, but it's not good. Like, they're not good. So I am concerned, but it is what it is. We could be concerned as all hell, and it don't matter. Like, he's here to stay, and that's the one. Like I said, that's the one thing I will say that Bean and McDermott do with certain guys. They bring back certain fucking guys, or keep guys around way too long, right? That should not be here. We've done it in years past, and it's very annoying. It's very annoying as a Bills fan and frustrating. When they don't cut ties or when they bring back aging veterans. I mean, how many times were they going to bring back the cornerback, Josh Norman? I mean, so what are you doing?
Bring back players who they're just familiar with, like
right? It's
Klein,
right? Like, stop, man, stop it! Like, come on, and then all this hope for Hyde, guys. I love Micah Hyde, but the truth is the truth. The dude has had some serious neck issues, and it's a serious gamble for him to come back. Like, for as much as I want him to come back, I'm nervous as hell if he does, because one stinger away from him just going, never mind, I made a mistake. I need to go away again. Like, he's like, listen, I love him, and I think he's smart, and I think he's a great player. But if we're all holding on hope for Micah Hyde to save this team safety position, man, that's not good. It's not good. So, what do you feel about that, the Micah Hyde thing?
Oh, I really wish he would retire. It is not, again, it's just because he's literally a neck injury away from potentially being paralyzed. Like, when you have stingers in your neck, it's brutal. Like, brutal injuries. I've had them. It's not something to take very, very lightly. And it's like, he's a lot older. Yes, I think he's a lot wiser. You're a lot wiser. You have a much understanding of how how certain offenses can run, and you can anticipate, if you can correctly diagnose the play, you can correctly be in a position to go ahead and make plays on the ball. The problem is that the one thing that people don't talk about, he regressed in terms of tackling. Like, he was not a good tackler the last couple years when he was able to play. Like, he was a really good field general for this team, but he was not a good tackler. He just wasn't. Like, before, you can put him in, even though Jordan Poyer was more of the box guy, if Micah Hyde had to fill in the box, he can do that. He can go out there and he can cover tight end. He was a hybrid when he was at Cleveland. He was a slot corner. At Green Bay, they played him in a slot, and they played he was more of a dime player, but they played him at slot, and they played him as a field safety. The older he was able to get, he just wasn't the same guy. So I know what Micah Hyde is right now. Like, he is, unfortunately, Bills fans, he is the emergency safety. If someone gets hurt and they need somebody to fill in the role, they're going to call Micah Hyde, because Micah Hyde has retired. He's been in Buffalo a lot recently. He's been in Buffalo a lot. He still hosts the charity softball game. They know, Micah Hyde knows that, basically it's kind of like, just give me the call. I'll be ready to go. I made my money.
Right.
At this point, I still think I have left to play. From what I've heard, he actually had a few calls from a few teams to be on their rosters from what I was able to hear. And he just said, no, I was like, nah, I'm good in Buffalo. Like, he wants to.
Yeah, that's where I see it. That's how I see it too.
Retires. So
in case of emergency, break glass for Mike Hyde. So hopefully we don't have to. Hopefully our safeties step up, right? Hopefully we don't have to break the glass and have Hyde come back. Because and by the way, the tackling probably has to do with the neck thing. He probably starting to get. You think about that stuff. I'm sure it did. I'm sure mentally, he didn't want to, play how he physical tackling wise that he did before. You get what I'm saying? Like, that has to take a toll on you mentally, obviously physically, but I just, I think if we winded up getting him back, it would be towards the tail end of the season. Maybe playoffs if we really needed him at that point, and he'd probably be up for it. But it would be, I would feel terrible if he came back and something bad happened. Like, honestly, as a Bills fan, because I don't want to see that dude, he's the rest of his life, kids and shit. Like, neck is no joke. That shit's no joke. So let's move on to the game. Let's get to this game. So Bills Wire did an article. Of course, I always go to them. They're awesome. 3 keys to a Bills victory versus the Cardinals in week 1. So shout out to Bills Wire. Play clean. Absolutely play clean. We're looking at you, Josh. We're also not here to say he's overrated by any means. But Allen does turn the ball over. In his last 2 season openers, he's tossed 5 interceptions combined. That's why Buffalo was upset by the New Jersey Jets. On a positive, this game is at home, and those 2 were not. Always a big boost for the Bills. What do you feel about that, man? The turnover department here.
I mean,
play clean.
Yeah, he's got to calm down a little bit on the turnovers. Now, listen, I'm not going to be one of these fans that's going to sit up here and tell you that just because that is going to be a huge detriment, because we've seen, I mean, Brett Favre was a turnover machine. He won a Super Bowl, even when he was in his prime, when he was winning all those MVPs. People forget Peyton Manning was a turnover machine, and he was still going and winning a lot, and he was still winning a lot of games and winning championships. Great play. Different sport, but Caitlin, this is the argument with Caitlin Clark, is that she turnovers the ball a gazillion times, but you won't talk about how many threes she's making, how many assists she's says. You don't want to talk about the good, which Josh Allen is, which is historically something that we've never seen in the history of the National Football League. First quarterback to have multiple 4,000 passing yards and 700 rushing yard seasons. First quarterback in NFL history with 4,000 yards passing, 500 yards rushing, and over 30 touchdowns. Something that's never been ever in the history. No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick. Nobody's ever really done it. Like we want to ignore the bad. We want to ignore the good things that he's done, which is historical. But again, it's the interceptions that he's just a turnover machine, and that he just costs his team wins, despite him being third in the league in wins behind behind Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes in terms of winning.
Right.
The wins total, he has more than Lamar, and so he's second only behind Mahomes. So yeah, we'll just ignore this and the fact that he rarely turns over the ball in the playoffs. This is going to be one of those years, Tommy, that if Josh Allen has, if he has even an identical year to last year, which if he does, let's say, put up 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, but he has like 15 rushing touchdowns, and like if he has the exact same year last year, it would be even more impressive because he doesn't have Stephon Diggs. And by that right,
absolutely,
he could win the MVP. But it's because of the interceptions that he throws. They'll ignore the wins. They'll ignore the fact that we'll clinch the division. They'll ignore the fact how we don't have a number 1 receiver on our team, and that the biggest criticism would be how would Josh Allen perform if he had, what would he do without a number 1 receiver? If he accomplishes those goals, but he throws for 18 interceptions, oh, well, he was overrated. He will be voted the most overrated player in the game. It's just he's going through the Brett Favre effect right now, because this was Brett Favre's biggest criticism, the fact that the Packers will win a lot of games, but he'll just throw a lot of interceptions. And he'll just, it won't stop, unfortunately, until Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there too, man. I think the narrative on him is bullshit. Like I do. I think it's like you said, they don't look at anything else but the bad, and it's crazy. But he's gone through that since he was drafted, bro. Like, he just doesn't get the love, at least, from a lot of people that he should. Gets a lot of hate. I don't understand it. But look, man, I will say this. As far as like opening games, I do feel like sometimes Josh gets a little bit worked up opening. Like, I don't know what it is about him. Sometimes opening games, he seems to get a little bit anxious or whatever. And sometimes he does try to force it a little bit. But I also feel like Josh is maturing more. The way he's gone about this offseason, I feel like it's a different mentality. Like, at least from what I've seen, both physically and mentally. Like, if you saw his interviews last year and his body and everything, like, he wasn't giving a shit about the offseason. He was eating. He's like, hey, I don't care. I'm going to eat what I want to eat, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, he had a different mentality. And if you see this offseason, man, like, I don't know what happened, but dude got with a nutritionist. Like, he took a totally different approach to how he ate in the offseason. I think mentally he's grown as a quarterback as well. That's the other thing. Him, you know, with him and Joe Brady basically giving him the keys saying, hey, like, I need you to take on more responsibility, calling your own plays at times. Like, Josh never was comfortable with doing that in the past, and I feel like he's taking that step forward now. I feel like now that Diggs is gone, like, it's totally Allen's team. And I'm not saying it wasn't his team even when Diggs was here, but I feel like it's 100% Allen's team now. And I feel like Allen, like his voice will be heard more now than ever from this receiving corps. And I think he's going to thrive. I do. And I think his interceptions go down. I think he's going to understand. I think he's all in on Joe Brady's offensive scheme. And he's going to take what the defense gives him. You know, there's going to be times where, yes, he's going to force the ball downfield. He's going to play some hero type ball. It's not going to ever go away from Josh Allen. And I don't want it to. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want Trent Edwards back in Buffalo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. I don't want safe Josh Allen, right? I don't want crazy Josh Allen, right? I don't want Josh Allen forcing everything. But I think Josh needs to just do it when he feels it's best, right? Like, do it in the right moments. That's all. But he's not going to play perfect football either. No, even Patrick Mahomes doesn't play perfect football. He did a terrible interception on Thursday Night Football. So nobody talks about that. Listen, even the best make mistakes. So he's going to make some mistakes. He's not going to play perfect football, but he's a damn good quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback. I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. If we had no Josh Allen on his team, we'd be a 6-win team at best. At best. And maybe I'm even going too many games. He's our everything. He's what makes this offense move. So I think this particular game, because everything I just said, I don't think he has this high turnover game. I think he has a clean game here. So let's go to the next. Attack Kyler. All right, Kyler Murray. While the Bills offense and starters barely got any playing time in the preseason, in part due to the weather, the Cardinals' first teamers got even less, including quarterback Kyler Murray. They did not play a single snap. To each their own, but Murray was held to only 8 games in 2023 due to injury. He has not played for a long while. Buffalo's defense coordinator Bobby Babich should getting the green light to put Murray under pressure early and often. What do you feel about that?
Yeah. It'll be very well. First of all, because I just got my phone. Dak Prescott just broke the bank. But it'll be very interesting because against these sort of quarterbacks, like Kyler Murray is very mobile. He's very elusive and he's quick as all hell. Like he is one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack because of his quickness, his agility, his ability to improvise, and especially to make really good throws off platform. He is one of the best in the NFL in doing that. And so the thing about the Buffalo Bills is, for some reason, in terms of just starting off hot, our edge rushers, defensive line, like we look like the best. We look like the 85 Chicago Bears in the first 3 to 4 games. Why? Because everyone's healthy. We start to see a better depth. We start to see a lot better rotation. And then we get to like around week 5, week 6. That's, Greg Rousseau has like a broken foot, and AJ Epinesa has like something's wrong with his ribs, and Daquan Jones is hurt. And now all of a sudden you have to rely on your depth. You got to rely more. The rotation starts to become a lot more limited. Players are going to be put in certain positions that you just don't know about. And then we get the Kansas City game where everyone's banged up, everyone's hurt, and lack of depth, despite the amount of investment you put on there. So I expect this defensive line to actually do a solid job in containing Kyler Murray. I think we do have the edge defenders. I think we have players that can set the edge, and Rousseau and Epinesa is not the greatest at setting the edge, but that's primarily his responsibility as someone that you want to rely on to bat the ball down and someone that can play that edge. Von Miller, we'll see how he is, man. I mean, everyone's been hyping up Von Miller a lot. Yeah. Saying that he's been having a great training camp. He's 35 years old, man. So, I mean, you got no choice because you got to keep him on this roster. But we need him. I mean, Von Miller is going to be the most important player on this team because we got to have somebody that's elite that can get after the quarterback.
Absolutely.
And this is a good test right here. Kyler Murray is one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the game. And, you know, he's going to make plays. He's going to escape the pressure. There's no doubt about it. But you got to figure out a way how to contain him. You got to figure out a way to contain him in the pocket. He's gonna make improvisations like a mug, but you got to find a way to contain him. But I think the most important part is interior pressure, right? Daquan Jones was crucial for this team last year because he was that one guy playing at one tech who could provide an interior pass rush. Ed Oliver saw a lot of one-on-one situations because Daquan Jones was the guy that was getting double teamed, which left Ed Oliver practically on an island. And so Daquan Jones to be back for sure.
I agree, man. By the way, Requeeb25 saying, is that my guy, Jant Sports? It is, man. It's Jarek. Come on, you know that voice. Jarek from Jant Sports. Yes, that's my dude, man. He's a frequent guest on the Mafia Sports Report. And I always thank him because he fills in a lot throughout the course of a season when one of us can't make it. So I appreciate you once again, Jared, for coming on. Jimmy Key says, let's fucking go, Bills Mafia. Be loud. Yeah, be loud. And if you're at the game or going to the game or whatever, if you're at the game, be fucking loud. Let's get as loud as we can and throw their offense off. So, man, I agree with you. Listen, man. For me, you are 100% right. The interior has to get pressure up the middle, force them to the outside edge, and like Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, Von Miller, get to him. It will make life much easier getting to Kyler Murray, disrupting him, and also stopping the run. If you stop the run, right, and they're a good running team. They averaged almost 5 yards per carry last year. They are a good running team, but if we can slow that run down, force them to pass, like force them to basically have to pass. I think we can definitely get to Kyle Murray. But our interior has to play solid. We cannot allow these big chunk runs that we've often allow up the middle. We did it in preseason too. Teams are running right up the middle on us. Can't allow that. Got to play better on the interior. So I feel like you get the interior pressure. It'll force Murray to the outside, which will definitely basically collapse the pocket, collapse everything around him. So it's very important Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver play on their A games, especially against him, because he will take off. And he is, like Jarek said, Kyler Murray is a tough dude to bring down, bro. He is very elusive. And when you think you have him, you don't. He's kind of like Josh Allen, but a small version, right? But he's just very tough to get, man. He's slippery, bro. So let's get to the next one. All right, next one. Lean on Khalil. It's simple. The only wide receiver to catch a pass from Allen in the regular season on the Bills roster is Khalil Shakir. Allen and offensive coordinator Joe Brady should be looking to jump on that Shakir wagon while the chemistry with other wideouts is building up. So it's built up. So what do you think about Khalil in this game? Lean on Khalil a little bit more than normal?
Oh, someone's got to step up. Someone's got to be able to take, take a maybe not a large majority, because I think we're done with that. I think, a player getting 150 targets, that's done with, especially I think maybe a player getting 15, 20 targets. The ball's going to be spread around maybe a little evenly. But Khalil Shakir, because I think he's mainly going to play in the slot. You can line him up outside sometimes, but mainly he's going to be your slot guy. Especially if you start to run like 11 personnel and you start to kind of run split, or he maybe even trips. He's not going to play out wide. That's not going to be his role. That's more Matt Collins. That's more Keon Coleman. That's Khalil Shakir is going to be a reliable slot guy for us. And so, he's very similar to Samuel. He's going to be very, very versatile. And one thing that I think that he was for Josh Allen last season was that he became a security blanket for Josh. It was him and Dalton Kincaid that became those two guys that you needed to step up the most. And it was because of the matchups that we were able to take advantage with Khalil Shakir being on. So I expect it to be the same in this game. I expect it to be the same in this game. That, again, I don't think we're going to take a lot of deep shots. I think they have two very good safeties with Jackson and Budda Baker, especially Budda Baker, who's more of a box, who can definitely play that Jordan, who I think I compare Budda Baker a lot to Jordan Poyer. He reminds me a lot of Jordan Poyer in terms of the role that Poyer played on this defense, where you could play him up and he could guard any of, the slot, the tight end, slot tight end, but especially kind of be a ball hawk, a little bit lower down compared to someone that's playing way above the field. So that I'm interested in that. But Shakir is going to be one of those guys that even I think defensively they're going to highlight, and we'll see if we can kind of free him up because he'll be a very important slot addition for this team.
Yeah, I agree, man. Listen, man, Khalil Shakir is I think he's gonna make some noise this season. I do, man. I think we got a steal when we drafted him. I loved him coming out of college. He is sneaky fast, bro. That dude runs a 4.3, bro. Like, nobody talks about his speed. That dude is fast, bro. It doesn't look like it's weird, like when he's running, but you just see him go past people. And I'm like, yeah, I told you that dude's fast. And he's reliable, and he's he has good hands. I feel like he his route running's good. I think he's going to definitely cause some. He's going to make some noise this year for sure. But we'll see this game. I mean, I'm very curious. From what Joe Brady has said is basically everyone's going to eat. 1 week it could be somebody that shines. The next week could be somebody else. So if that holds true, we'll see. I mean, 1 week it could be Dalton Gakey. 1 week it could be Curtis Samuel. So we'll see in this game who they lean on more. But I will go back to this, and I will say this too. Josh Allen tends to, at least until he gets comfortable with certain players, he tends to go to the guys he's most comfortable with, or has that chemistry with early on in camp or whatever. Like him and Diggs, they had it early on. That's why that relationship was so great to start 2020. Like they just were on the same page, bro. And Josh felt comfortable with them. Diggs felt comfortable with that. Like everything was perfect. I think it took a little bit with Kincaid and Allen. And then once Knox went out and he got to throw a little bit more to Kincaid, you kind of saw it more and more and more, that chemistry building. And Shakir, the same way. I felt like it took a little bit, and you started to see that last year where Josh was feeling really comfortable going to Shakir even more than Diggs. So, yeah, I feel like, we'll see what happens with the young guys, the new guys that came here, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, guys that have to, let's see the comfortability level when it comes to like now, live game day action, right? Where Josh goes to the most when things are breaking down, when he needs to find somebody. Very curious to see. So, and we are an hour away to see that. So, by the way, if you guys want to see the uniforms today, here it is. They are wearing the blue and whites. And if you guys want to see the injury report and who's playing today and the inactives, I'll get to that right now too, because I have that pulled up. Let me get that right now. So here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. See if I can maybe blow that up a little bit more. Okay. So there we go. So here is the inactive. So inactive, Cole Bishop, Joe Andreessen. So everybody that was excited to see Buffalo Joe, you're going to have to wait another week. He ain't playing. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm just going to say EU is not playing. Javon Solomon, which we knew. SVP is inactive as well. Ryan Van Denmark. And Smoot, who was questionable, is inactive. Any surprise there, Jarek, on the inactives?
Yeah, no, a lot of people will be pissed off with Joe. Yeah. Our 5th round rookie, Olu. I just call him Olu, but Olu is going to be, obviously Olu is he's not going to make it in this game. I guess Cedric Van Pran would be the one for me, because who's the backup center? Who's the person? Because who's going to back up?
I'm guessing Anderson, right?
I hope not. I
think so, dude.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. It's just right. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we so just infatuated with players that play out of position? It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay, dude. But look, he's right there, number 70. If you look on the, he's active. So it's definitely Alec Anderson.
Like you're not. So who's boy? So if McGovern goes down, then that means you have to.
See, I'll be honest with you. Like, I think they screwed this up from last year. I think they should have drafted a center last year. You knew the writing was on the wall. At least I did for our old center, Mitch Morse. Like, I knew he was on his way out, right? With the money and everything like that, and him getting older. But if you knew that time was coming soon, why didn't you draft a center when you had a chance last year? Had him sit behind Mitch Morse, right? Get familiar with this team, and boom, you would have had no problem. You could have kept McGovern at left guard. Everything remains the same. Okay, you made that mistake. Okay, fine. You drafted SVP, right? A true center out of Georgia, who, by the way, was very good. In Georgia.
Very good.
It wasn't like he was a bum.
Good. Played very good.
And he actually played good in preseason. I don't understand why they gave the keys right away to McGovern. Like, I really wish what they would have done is what they did last year with Osiris Torrance and Bates, which I knew, and I told everybody from day one that Osiris Torrance was going to beat out Ryan Bates. I told you guys that.
Yeah.
I said it's going to happen.
I told you.
Don't worry about it.
First day of training camp, man. First day of training camp. I was there. Literally the first snap Osiris Torrance took when he was matched up against Ed Oliver. He pancaked him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he won the job.
Yeah. I thought Will Clapp was cut too, but I guess not. He's on the right. It says right there, offensive line. So game day roster. I thought he was cut. I don't remember him being back. It says unless they're wrong on this roster. It says Will Clapp, so apparently he's not. But going back to that, I felt like they did it wrong, and I trust Cromer, no doubt about it. I think Cromer is one of the best offensive line coaches out there. And if he feels comfortable, if this is what he wants, I'll go with it. He's offensive line coach for a reason. He's one of the best in the biz for a reason. But I still think, I feel like they just gave it to McGovern instantly. Like, it was not going to be ever a battle in camp with him and SVP. I felt like they didn't do it right. Like, they should have at least had that battle. And if McGovern won it, I'm good with that. Fine. And then you had and then if he goes down, at least SVP was familiar with Josh, ran with the ones, practiced with the ones. You know what I mean? Like, and then we go into season going, okay, McGovern's a center, but we got SVP. He's active. He's there. Not Alec Anderson. Come on. Stop. Now, what if David Edwards goes down? Then what are you doing there? Alec Anderson, putting McGovern there, Alex Anderson center. Like, I can't stand the musical chair thing on offensive line. I hate it. We did it way too much in years past. It's why we have been terrible, except for last year on the offensive line, playing musical chairs on offensive line. You got to have the key. You got to have your guys in place, man, for multiple seasons to build that chemistry. If you keep doing this musical chair thing, it's never going to work, dude. It's never going to work. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens this year. Edwards looked okay in preseason. I'm not going to knock him. I think so far I'm comfortable with him at left guard. That's fine. McGovern was stressing me in the beginning with his terrible, getting the ball to Josh Allen and shotguns. Even under center, he was fumbling. They had bad exchanges, but he cleaned it up. Preseason, he looked fine. So we'll see. But I think they did drop the ball there with the center position, knowing that Mitch Morse was on his way out. They knew they were going to get rid of him. They should have had that planned out better than. But I don't understand it. So it is what it is. We're here. It's game day. Right? There's no changing it. But yeah, I would say Joey Andreessen as well. I gotta be honest with you, for as well as he played in the preseason, for all the, and Bill's Mafia just getting around him and excited to see him. Yeah, a little surprised that fucking Balin Spector.
Again,
I shouldn't even say his name. I'm sorry. You know what, Jarek? I told you I changed Balin's name. It's just BS now. A guy that's Glass Joe out there. What has he done to earn a game day jersey?
Oh, I can tell you. He earned the loyalty of the coaches.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's bullshit.
Same,
right?
Same way
bullshit.
Sam Martin, Matt Hawk, AJ Klein, and all these other players. I mean, Josh Norman, how somehow the way they earn roster spots. They know the coaches. They get familiar with the GM, and boom, it's kind of like it's like what Micah Hyde is right now, just an emergency call.
Like that's crap, guys. Let's be real. Like why? Like BS has done nothing to earn a game day jersey. I'm sorry, Joey Andreessen has earned that well over BS. Way over. Say what you want, that he's young, ripe, fine. But you're telling me BS earned that? Sorry. No, that's crap. That's a McDermott thing. That's a typical McDermott move. And that's why I am not sold on McDermott as our head coach. I like him. I'm not going to shit on McDermott. I feel like McDermott has done some great things here. I feel like he's a really good regular season head coach. I feel like he, when things are not going so well, he does pull the troops together. He works through injuries very well. He gets guys to play better than, I get that. But he also makes some head scratching decisions, guys. Very head scratching decisions. And in the playoffs, he's miserable. When things get, when he gets under pressure, he folds. He folds under pressure every time. He clams up. He makes some poor decisions as a head coach. And this is one of them. Why? Why is he dressed? I'm sorry. It's a bad, even if BS probably won't even play, but at least have a guy that earned it out there. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to get off that subject because it just pisses me off. When I see shit like that, that's what makes me mad. Like, he'd earned nothing to be on this roster. I don't even think he should be on the roster. I think he should be on the practice squad. How about that? I don't even think he earned a 53. I don't know how the hell he's even playing, in my opinion. Am I right there, Jarek? Does he even earn a 53?
I don't even think he earned a practice spot roster. I just don't think he should be in the league. I think Spector is terrible, me personally.
Yeah.
And the fact that your 5th round pick, Olu, and I think Olu might be a little banged up. I think that's why Spector might be on the 53. But Olu's been better. Joe Andreessen's been better. Like there have just been better players way more than Spector. But I'm glad Jamarcus Ingram made the roster. I mean, made the 53.
I like him. Yeah. Even my dog is pissed. I don't know if you hear her barking.
Yeah.
She's had enough of this crap. But anyways, let's get to the score prediction because it is 12:15 and we're 45 minutes pretty much away from game time. So, Jarek, the question, right? The tough question I'm going to throw out there for you. What is your prediction for this game? Give me a score prediction. And guys in the chat, go ahead and throw that out there too.
I'm gonna say 27-20. I think this is gonna be again first game, so a lot of mistakes are gonna be made. We don't know what Arizona's gonna be running. We don't know. They don't know what we don't even know what Joe Brady, because we haven't seen it. So I think there's gonna be mistakes on both sides. I think Kyler Murray is gonna make plays just because of how mobile of a quarterback that he actually is, and it's going to be very hard to just to contain him inside of the pocket. So I think he'll bounce out of it and make some really good off-platform throws. I think Marvin Harrison's going to be a mismatch nightmare, man. I'm a big fan of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s game.
He's damn good, dude.
Trey McBride going against Dorian Williams and some of our safeties. I know Teron Johnson's in the game. I understand that. So it's not like Trey McBride is going to be singling out Dorian or some of our safeties, but there will be mismatch opportunities for Trey McBride to make. But I think we win, man. I think we come off of it. I think we run the ball effectively and efficiently enough. Arizona does not play the run very well. And I think that this is going to be a big game for I think that this is going to be a good game for both James Cook and Ray Davis to go ahead and make plays.
So what do you got? What's your score again? What do you got?
I got 27-20.
27-20. So scored close. Jose coming in 34-27 for his score prediction. Scott Blakely saying 41-19. Bills win, over 180 total rushing yards. So kind of like what you're saying, rushing will be good. Coleman gets his first NFL touchdown. Yeah, so I've been a little on Friday night. I think I said 27 points, 27-17, something like that. I think it's gonna be close. And I told you guys I might change my opinion on game day. So here it is. Here's my final score prediction. I'm gonna say 34-17. I'm hoping I'm right on that. So 34-17. And here's a hot take that I said Friday, and I'm gonna stick with it. I think that Keon Coleman goes for over 100 yards and gets a touchdown. I think.
You need to quiet down these NFL people who will sit up here and say that Xavier Worthy. Oh, Xavier Worthy is.
I think here's the deal, man. These players hear that shit, especially young players. They take that shit to heart, right? You know he's hearing that noise. He has to be, right? Like, veteran players and shit, they don't listen to that. They, like Josh Allen's not really caring, right? About, overrated, all that. Like, that shit don't bother him no more, right? He's been there, done that. Maybe the young Josh Allen, possibly. But these younger players, they eat that. They always have something to prove, right? Coming out of college, not picked in the first round. Trust me when I tell you, he's hearing the noise on the Xavier Worthy stuff. My dog is just so angry about this whole Sean McDermott and Joe.
Can I ask you just a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Has there ever been a situation where a player gets arrested going literally on their way to a football game?
Not that I remember.
That just happened to Tyreek Hill.
No way. What?
On his way to the game, something happened, and then now he's arrested. Now he's in jail.
Are you kidding me?
I've never. Yep, it just happened. I have.
Whoa! Are you serious? Guys, are you listening to this breaking news? Hold on, I have to get the breaking news. Where is it? Here, let me get this. Let's do it again. Here we go. All right, say it again, Jerk. What?
So Tyreek, he just got arrested. On his way to the game. I have no idea what he did, but it's just tons of footage out there. He got arrested. So I never seen it happen.
Wow.
On his way to the game.
Wow, that is huge. That is crazy. I was like, where are you going with this? Right? Like what are you? I'm thinking, what is Jared going with this? Right?
Whoa.
Like, man, yeah, that was like, I almost wanted to do Joey Lawrence.
Whoa.
Right? Like, wow, that's crazy, bro. I never heard about. Now, I did. You know what this kind of is like, Jarek? What was his name? Scotty Scheffler, that got arrested. The golfer.
Yeah.
Right. Remember that? What was that? A couple months ago, he was driving to go. To golf, remember that? Mm-hmm. And he went around the cop or something. And they remember that? They said he hit him and they arrested him. And everyone's like, what the hell? This is the same. I guess this is very similar. That's crazy. Something happened. Wow. Okay. So I'll have to talk to my buddy Captain D about that. But that is breaking news. That is wild.
Yeah, he's actually detained.
And I don't think he'll get out in time. Can they get him out in time for the game?
I don't know. I'll say, man, the processing, it takes a while, man.
It takes a while, but you got money. The process might be quicker. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, you still got to get to the game and everything. That's wild. That is wild, guys. But anyways, let me get back to my game. I think Keon Coleman, hot take, I think he does go over 100 yards. I think he hears the outside noise. I think Josh Allen also wants to prove that Keon's the guy for the Buffalo. He's the future one. And he also, Josh Allen, you got to remember, Josh Allen wanted Keon Coleman. From everything that was said, Josh Allen told Brandon Beane like Keon Coleman is the guy I want in Buffalo. So I think Josh Allen's going to want to see Keon Coleman thrive, have a big game, shut a lot of critics up because he is getting the Buffalo Bills in general are getting criticized for that a lot. It's been, especially after Worthy's 2 touchdowns in the opening week. So yeah, I think Keon Coleman gets around 100 yards and a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll go 34-17, and I think a lot of people eat in this game. And I think our run game is definitely going to get going. That's another reason why we got so much bigger at receiver, because we wanted to play a little bit more physical. We wanted physical receivers. That's something that Josh Allen has not had since becoming quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. We've had small receivers. Our biggest receiver was Gabe Davis at 6'2". We have guys now 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", physical. And two, Jarek, I want to point this out too. Last 3 seasons, the Buffalo Bills have been in top 5 in drop percentage. I think last year we were top 3. We might have been number 1. Terrible drops all over the board. We've gotten better with that this year, I believe, as well. Curtis Samuel, very good hands. Khalil Shakir, very good hands. Keon Coleman, very good hands in college. Dalton Kincaid, very good hands coming out of college, probably one of the best coming out of college last year. The only guy that isn't is MVS, which, by the way, is another guy I don't feel like he earned a roster spot, but they had to because they paid him. I don't think he earned it. I honestly think, once again, he's another guy I don't think belongs on this roster. I think Shavers beat him out, in my opinion, but they're going with the guy they paid. But he's another guy I'm just not thrilled about. I wasn't thrilled about that signing, and hopefully he proves me wrong, guys. I hope MVS makes some big plays and proves me wrong, and everybody come back and say, Tommy, you see, MVS is the guy. I'll take it. I will eat that crow all day if it benefits the Bills. But I just don't trust. What's your opinion on the MVS, real quick, Jared, before we go?
He's a deep threat, and I think he's going to have that role of being the deep threat of this team. The problem is he drops too many passes. Like even from what we've seen so far, especially during camp, he can get open, man. Running a lot of deep nines and running streaks and posts and some deep corners. He just drops too many passes. His hands are garbage.
Oh, so, Butterfingers. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, if he can get it together and just play that role, I mean, MVS could be big in this offense, but I don't know. It's like MVS. It's like I got to see it to believe that he can be a player on this offense. But I can see the role of what they're trying to make him play, which is a deep threat.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah, that's what he was brought. I get that. But man, you saw right in preseason, the easiest catch. Nobody behind me drops it. In camp, there was highlights of him dropping wide open, easy catchable ball, and he's just dropping them. Like, I hope that improves. I don't care what you got to do, bro. Stick them on their gloves, whatever the hell you need to do, because clearly he can get open. Clearly he has the speed, right? But you got to catch the ball. You got to complete the process, right? By the way, Spin comes out, says Hill was released. They didn't take him to jail. So, yeah. So
from what I've heard,
he
was speeding. So I guess he was on his way to the game, and I think he was going. Somebody said he was going 100 miles. That he was going 100 miles per hour.
Which they can take you to jail if you do double the limit in South Florida. By the way, I know because I had a 240SX turbo and I just got it. And long story short, with my buddy going to Kendall, and it was late at night, turnpike, wide open, nobody there. And I said, let's see what this puppy can do. And I got up to about 140. And I didn't even see the cop. I must have passed him. I have no idea. But he pulled me over, state trooper, and he was fucking pissed, Jarek. And he told me, bro, I'm heading home from work, he said. And you flew by me. He said, I was going fast. He's like, I could take you to jail right now, right? And I said, dude, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Like, I just want to see what the car gets it. And he let me go. No ticket, no nothing. And I think I got lucky because he was just going home. But, yeah, dude, he probably was speeding. and they know. Listen, if that was me or you, they probably would have arrested us. But he's Tyreek Hill, and he's going to a football game in Miami, so they probably gave him a nice ticket.
Yeah. Probably just going late,
and let him
probably late to when they were supposed to be there, and you just flying down.
Exactly. Gotten his right, whatever car he has, his souped up car, and
you can't go 100 miles per hour going, especially because you're in a residential area. You're going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, no, he probably was on. If I had to guess, because where their stadium is right off the highway.
Yeah.
So he probably was on the highway just booking it.
Yep, just going. And then by the time he got off, they stopped him, and then they probably shut him off. Yep. Yeah,
it's right off the turnpike, like that stadium. So I believe right off the turnpike. So it literally, you could just exit, boom, you're right there in Miami Gardens. So he probably was just booking it on the highway, and if I had to guess, it was a state trooper. And
they're on the motorcycle. Because they were on those motorcycles, so most likely.
Oh, were they state? Yeah. So probably he was either a state trooper or was Miami Gardens police. He was somewhere close. I don't know where he lives or anything, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they could have arrested him. Technically, they could have arrested him. They probably just gave him a ticket and let him go, and he'll just pay that ticket off. That's nothing to him. It's
they had him in handcuffs though. For what? From the
because they probably initially were like, "Yo, you can't be doing this." But once I think they probably figured out who he was. Because remember, not every cop and shit watch football. You know what I'm saying? They might not even know who he was initially. And it probably was another cop that jumped on the scene and was like, yo, it's fucking Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm. Like they saw him in a Ferrari competition. They just thought, oh, you know what? It's Miami. We got a bunch of assholes that are flying around in Ferrari competitions and Lamborghini Huracans and Evos. And like, we see this crap all the damn time. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, that's Tyreek Hill. And it's like, oh, the stadium's right there. Oh.
Right. Oh, we need you today. All right, well, we're going to get out of here, man. It was awesome pregame. Jarek, thank you so much for joining me. I love the back and forth, man. But, yeah, man, it's here, guys. 12:30, 30 minutes away from, Buffalo Bills football, the real deal. Here it is, man. This is what we've been gearing up for all off season. We love our Bills. We trust our Bills. I still think we are going to win the East. It's the playoffs that scare me, Jarek, but I still think we control the East.
Yeah.
Let's just hope, guys, that our young guys, our new guys to this roster are the right decisions. They can step up and make this new look team, a Super Bowl looking team, right? A Super Bowl caliber team. But it's gonna take a lot. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know yet if we're a Super Bowl caliber team. I gotta see at least 10 games before I give that honest opinion on how this roster shapes up and how Joe Brady. Like, I like what I saw from Joe Brady last year, but I don't know what we're going to get out of him yet. Like, I got to see it. And same with Bobby Babich. And the thing with Bobby Babich, I'll tell you this, what concerns me a little bit is Sean McDermott taking the keys away at a certain point of a game or a certain game, because he did it to Leslie Frazier, who was a pro, who was a veteran head coach, a veteran defensive coordinator. Who's to say he's not going to do it to Bobby Babich? Just throwing that out there. And if he does it to Bobby Babich, who's a young coach, he's going to knock his confidence right out. I'm telling you right now.
Especially because he's a McDermott disciple. Like
yes. Yeah.
Like, it would be don't mind giving up the keys.
It will be a big mistake, though. I'm telling you right now, guys, if McDermott takes the keys away at certain parts of a game, crucial parts of a game, or even a game, he's going to knock any confidence that Bobby Babich had in running this defense. I'm telling you right now, like that, it's just reality. Because I know for a fact if somebody gave me a job and was like, you know what? I don't trust you right now. I'm going to, I'll give it back. I'll let you do your job maybe later, maybe tomorrow. Like, I would say, damn, this motherfucker just don't trust me. Like, I would not feel comfortable or confident in myself moving forward. So I hope that Sean McDermott truly lets this dude call the plays throughout the whole season, and also takes, and he's going to go through some learning bumps, curves, whatever you want to say. Like, he's going to have some moments where we're going to be like, fuck, you know, why is Bobby Babish, you know, doing that, right? Calling that play, that defensive play. It's okay. I'm going to let him go through those growing, you know, those experiences, right? He has to learn from those, you know, bad calls, whatever. He's going to have that. Same with Joe Brady. Like, it may not be pretty at first. It may take a few games. It may take 4, 5, 6 before this offense gets clicking. It really could, Jerry. We'll see. I will say this, though. If this offense in this game gets off to a fast start, looks like, I mean, gelling, like looks like they are clicking from snap one, then I feel like we are in good shape moving forward. But if we start off slow, sluggish, guys are going the wrong way, like not on the same page with Allen, right? Allen's throwing a turnover because the receiver's not on the same page, going the wrong way, or ran a different route. Then it's going to be a slow start to the season until we can get that figured out. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see if all the offseason shit, all the training camp, all the mini camps, training camp, the little preseason we played, you know, if that all, you know, helps and gets this team on the right track to start the season. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. By the way, we will be here post-game, me and Mikey, right after. So I scheduled it for 4. We'll probably be on 4:05, 4:10 the latest. So be here post-game, and we should have a victory. We should be all sitting here happy. Hopefully we're not on here pissed the fuck off. Hopefully we're just here, you know, loving life as a Bills fan. So until we see you later, Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.